look like, guys, before my first cup of coffee of the day. And guys, this is what I look like after several cups of coffee. So, plan today is to head down to the ridge, and most importantly, we are gonna get some more GoPro footage, because later tonight when we get back home from the office, I'm going to show you guys sort of my new GoPro color grading trick, hack, whatever we want to call it. It's not really a hack, anyone can do it, but I just want to show you guys this new thing that I figured out that really kind of ups the overall vibrancy of your GoPro footage. And this is even furthermore than the first video that I have done that you guys have probably watched, which was like how to edit your GoPro footage. So this is a continuation of that. After playing with tons of GoPro footage throughout the past year, I kind of stumbled across this, and I just want to share it with you guys because I think it's super cool. It's totally free, you don't need to pay money for it, and I think it just like really makes your GoPro footage look a lot better. But also, we're out here in the beautiful fresh air this morning, just kind of wanted to maybe get some photos and some B-roll with this camera and the gimbal, and just get some fresh air before we go sit in a gray box all day. But anyway, let's bust on down, let's get some B-roll, and I will see you guys after that. So hard to beat this view in the morning with the sun rising, and just I just love doing this. I really should do this every morning, although it is a little hard to get out of bed sometimes this early after you've stayed up editing until midnight or whatever, but just love it. Alright guys, I think that is enough B-roll for this morning. Sorry, I got a little carried away, just was so stoked with this sunrise and the gimbal, and just got a lot of good GoPro footage. But anyway, I'm gonna bust into the office now, and I will catch you guys after that once I get home, and we'll hop on the computer and I'll show you guys basically how I'm editing my GoPro footage. But anyway, I'll catch you guys when we get back home. Good. Alright guys, and I'm back home. I realize this is a bit of a harsh introduction because it's so hard to vlog like when you're doing a full-time job. Like, I always go out in the morning sometimes and I'll shoot something like, yeah, let's vlog, and then it's like almost 8 o'clock at night, I'm drinking my iced coffee, getting ready to edit and film for the rest of the night, and I'm like, well, I didn't really vlog the rest of my day. But anyway, we are back home, got our iced coffee, and I think we should just head into the office, and no more fluff for today. We had enough B-roll this morning. Let's just talk about how I'm editing my GoPro videos right now, because I think I kind of found something cool and I want to share it with you guys. So anyway, let's hop into the office, let's pull up the laptop, let's get ready to edit, and let's color grade some GoPro footage. So let's do it. Alright guys, so we are back in the office. Let's just dive right on into it. Let's edit these videos. I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing with my GoPro footage these days. Okay, so we've got a few things to cover today. All right, guys, so for starters, we've got a couple of clips. We're going to use some from this morning, but we're also going to use some from Logan and I's mountain biking trip from the other day, because that was really what sort of led me onto this. So this was a pretty cool clip. We've got it in slow motion. Let's go from about where the action begins. This is a pretty sweet shot. Logan just looking like a total BA. Let me expand this. Let's try and make this as big as possible. But again, guys, this is all shot completely flat, Pro Tune. If you guys haven't watched that video, definitely go check it out on the settings that I use when I use my GoPro Hero 7. So doing that is required for what we are doing here, because we need the color space to be as compressed and as flat as possible, and the exposure to be as flat as possible. So if we open up the waveform, we can really see here for the most part how everything is really, it's not clipping out very much. Everything is right down the middle. Everything looks really good. We haven't added that contrast in where a lot of our shadows are hitting 0 and a lot of our highlights are going up towards 100. That concept remains the same, and we talked about that in our last video, but this video we're actually going to use something called a LUT. Now for those of you who don't know what LUTs are, they are basically just lookup tables. That's what LUT stands for, and what they are is they're just a way for you to change the colors in your image. So for example, the way that they work is configured for a certain color of green that you've shot on your camera and is interpreted that way. The LUT file will come over and will tweak that color slightly. So that's what we're gonna use. Now I know what you guys are thinking, oh Jake, using LUTs, that's nothing new. So here's kind of where it got a little bit sort of experimental, and this is how I figured this out. You guys know the GH5S, that's the camera I've been shooting on for a few months now. It shoots in an incredibly flat picture profile. It's super flat, very dull, but then you have to use a LUT to bring it back to like the normal color space, the Rec 709. And so I'm sitting here, I was editing this GoPro footage and I was kind of doing the same thing, you know, coming in here, getting my color wheels and dropping the shadows, raising the highlights, all that good stuff. And I was kind of wondering, I was like, well, you know, this is definitely not as flat. Again, looking at our graph here, it is not as flat of an image as the GH5S does, which is crazy flat. But what if we use that same LUT and applied it to our GoPro footage? Again, I was just trying stuff, guys. I was like, let's just try something different. So how we're gonna do that, if you haven't done it in Final Cut, I will show you guys if you're using another app like DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro, they all have ways to do LUTs. In Final Cut, you're gonna go to the effects, the color effects tab, and then come here to custom LUT, and just take that LUT and put that straight on your footage. And then from there, you want to go over to this tab right here, custom LUT, and load in the Vlog to V709 from Panasonic. Now, if you're wondering how much money this LUT costs, guess what, guys? It's completely free. I'll link the link down below. Basically, Panasonic provides this LUT for free so that if you're a Vlog shooter on the GH5 or the GH5S, they provide it to you so that you can convert that log footage into the more normal 709, more color, more contrast, but still preserving all of those highlights and shadows that we get from log. It just converts it into a more normal looking image instead of that really dull gray, uncontrasted, very unsaturated look. Anyway, so right away we're gonna notice that this looks just over the top. It's way too much. Again, the GoPro image is flat. It's not as flat as log. So then what I do is I come over here to the mix and I just kind of play around with this until we get a really nice mix that's really vibrant, but also not too much. We just want to kind of bring those skin tones to a more natural looking color. We want to see that bike really go from kind of a dull green to the actual green that it is in real life, which Logan's bike is just a sweet color of green. It looks super cool. The grass, the sand, all of that, the sky was crazy blue that day. And so this LUT is just bringing those colors and really enriching them and making them very vibrant, and it just looks freaking awesome. Then of course we can come back here to our color wheels and do all of the stuff that we did before, drop those shadows to add a little bit more contrast, raise those highlights to add a little bit more contrast, and then color grade at will. I'm actually really liking how these colors looked, except for maybe putting a little bit more orange in my highlights and a little bit more blues in my shadows, and then maybe actually pulling some of the red out of the midtones to make Logan's skin look just a little bit more natural. And then yeah, guys, I mean, I'm just really pleased with how this final image looks. It looks very cool, very vibrant, and that's kind of what you want with GoPro footage, is for it to really stand out and just kind of grab your attention and really, you know, be nice and bold. You want bold looking footage with your GoPro. Okay, I'm pleased with that one. Let's pull in another clip. So let's do one from this morning. Here's me running like an idiot doing the action camera vlog from this morning that you guys saw earlier. So again, we're gonna apply that custom LUT. We're gonna come in here. I'm gonna kind of pick a spot that I think I really want to match. Come in here, apply the LUT. It's way too much, and then we just bring it back down to a more reasonable level. It looks really nice. And overall, guys, I mean, again, I'm already loving where it is as it is. Now let's just go back, add some color wheels. Let's get some more contrast in those shadows. Let's maybe, I think our highlights are a little blown out, which I'm kind of bummed on. You can see here on my arm, there's no way I'm gonna be able to recover those because they're just completely white at this point. But maybe we could add a little bit of orange to those highlights to make it look a little bit more natural. But all in all, I might actually bring the overall exposure down a bit. And this is what we get. It's gonna be a lot more vibrant. You can see the greens in the sagebrush, the oranges and the grass just look a lot better with the stuff that we just did. And again, for comparison, here is a frame as it is. Let's turn off our color grade and let's turn off the LUT. And it just looks a whole lot more dull going back and forth between the application of that LUT. Okay, let's do one more shot. I'm gonna slow this one down and then I'm trying to highlight skin tones on this, guys. So one thing that you'll notice with GoPro footage is that skin tones can be very flat, and I'm looking like a complete doofus in this shot. You can just notice that the skin tones are really lacking with the GoPro's image. So if we come over here and we put this LUT on here, it adds a really nice, again, this is way too much, but you can see it adds a really nice kind of red to yellow sort of highlight blend going on with this LUT. We're gonna turn it down way a lot because it's just way too much, but you can see now that this just really looks more like an actual skin tone. And you can see we've got that really nice highlight roll off going on between this part of my forehead and the shaded part. And it just looks really nice, guys. All in all, this LUT just really adds a ton to making your skin tones look so much nicer on the GoPro. All right, guys, and that is all I have for you today. Hope you liked this video. Again, I just kind of have been having tons of fun throughout the last little bit experimenting with the way I've been grading my GoPro footage, and the fundamentals are still there. If you guys have watched my old how to edit GoPro footage video, then yeah, it's still the same ideas. It's just with this LUT, we're really bringing some of those skin tones and some of that vibrancy and really enhancing it and making for some really bold looking GoPro footage. And the coolest part, guys, is it's completely free. It doesn't cost you a penny to get this LUT because it's free to download. So that's really cool. But anyway, that is it. You guys have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, week. Comment down below how you guys are using your GoPro. Always gotta love GoPro footage because it probably means you're out having a good time. But anyway, guys, that is all. And do not forget, as always, that creativity comes from constraint. And I will see you guys later. See you guys.